Hey y'all, Thursday Night Book Club, Daenerys 1, Chapter 12. Ree's going to take the overview for us. But before that, of course, everybody's going to introduce themselves and tell us their news and whatnot. Alrighty, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay,
do I have my mute on? I can't see. There's so many people. I'm Kerri. Hey, everybody. My description. All my stuff's in the description. I do want to show y'all something I got in the mail today. And I'm so excited. Y'all probably be getting yours too. But I had it sent to me because I didn't want to do will call. So I got my pass today. And I'm like, can y'all see it? Do I have my camera off?
Yes, that's awesome. I'm sitting here.
Oh my God. I'm such a... Wait, no. It says it's on. Is my camera on?
Yes, we can see it.
It's awesome. I literally sent my mom a message today, like, did my pass come yet?
I was like, well, that's supposed to be exciting, but, well, yeah. It came. Robert's like, what'd you order? And I was like, asshole. That's my cons pass. That's my con pass. I had a feeling. So
that's awesome.
Very cool. Wait, will you show it again? I'm sorry, y'all. I took an anti-inflammatory. I'll get to my story. It's making me have to TT every 5 minutes.
Well, shit. Okay.
I like her story.
Right, it's better.
General pass, and it has a lanyard.
Woo-woo.
I don't know what goes on this part.
Yeah, check the mail.
We'll see.
Awesome. I don't understand how you do that. How do you get them to go ahead and send you the pass in the mail?
You pay 12 extra freaking dollars.
Oh, yeah. Okay. My mom didn't do that.
You gotta get them at will call.
Yeah, that's what I did last year. That'll be fine. Whatever. All right, Kerri, tell us. Did you mention the 21 Pilots concert? I wanted you to tell us a little bit about that.
I've been driving y'all crazy about it.
I know. So, and I know you were obviously recovering all day yesterday because, what was that?
Today? No, I didn't get to recover yesterday. I had to go take my grandma to Walmart. She's 94, so it's a little rough. Love her to death. She changes her mind about things and can't remember, so I just wanted to help her out. And my brother and I, he and I are really close, got to go see 21 Pilots. That was his first time.
Awesome. That's awesome that you with your brother. I love my brother.
Concert and scream, and I'll post some videos and you can hear me just screaming my ass off.
Very cool.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun to get to go do something like that. So I'm having con and that this summer. So.
Awesome. Amanda J in the chat. It's Amanda from Western Australia. She says, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the chat and welcome to Book Club. And then we've got Valor Morgulis with us. He hadn't been with us in a while, but he's an old so welcome to him. And let's see who else is in the chat. Connie Super, but she has to go to work. And Peter Griffin. Hey, everybody. So this is a really good Daenerys chapter. Okay. Liz, you have news. You have special news if Kerri's done.
Oh, well, I'm in Toronto, and my second favorite basketball team won the NBA Finals last Thursday. They beat the Raptors beat the Warriors. It's their first finals, and it was pretty crazy. It's been a pretty nuts couple of days. They, obviously the night they won was nuts, and everyone was out on the streets and all that. And I drank a lot and maybe other things that night. And then on Monday they had the parade, which they went to. Now, I'm also from Northeastern Ohio, so when the Cavs won, it was amazing, and I was at the watch party. But I ended up not going to the parade because I was my parents in Akron, and I didn't want to drive back to Cleveland. So this is the first parade I went to, and it was pretty amazing. There were 2 million people in the parade. I mean, if you see the pictures, and Toronto is like a city that, I don't know if Mardi Gras is like this, but Caravana is like the big festival. In the summer, the Caribbean festival, everybody dresses up in costumes, plays moss, whatever. And like at Caravana, you walk with the trucks, right? With the bands. And so this is Toronto. So the buses come out and they go past. And we were at the beginning of the route where they have these big arches, and we took really good pictures. And there were a ton of people there. And they're coming out, and the players are all spraying. They're on double-decker buses, and the players are spraying people with champagne and like whatever. They're like going crazy. Drake was on one of the buses. And so Drake is like a big, he's from Toronto. So
right.
he's like the Raptors ambassador, like mascot. And everybody just starts walking with the buses all the way. And they didn't really have barriers. Like normally on parades, barriers. They did not, I don't know what they did. Like they did not have, they had barriers on the corners. So the parade was supposed to take 2.5 hours to get to like where they were gonna have the ceremony. For like and I think Drake was gonna sing and stuff. But they had so many people, it took like 4.5 hours, and people just kept blocking the roads and walking with the buses. I'm surprised because you see the pictures and people are just walking right. There were police trying to keep them back, but after a while, like, and it was. I'll have to show you pictures, guys. It was so many people. Like I
can't believe somebody didn't get run over.
I really don't. I can't believe it. And also, let's see, my video is not very good, but on Instagram, there's some videos I'll pop the links in.
Yeah.
And they like, from where we were, it was like crowded, but not terrible. But like once you got further towards it, right into downtown, I mean, there were people up climbing trees and up on buildings. And like, there was 2 shootings because, when you have 2 million people, and Toronto's not a violent city, but, and then, so I think one person got stabbed or something, but, yeah, they kind of had to, I think they cut some things short. But,
yeah, we do.
Yeah, right, It's like,
as long as we had that parade.
Right. No one died. It's okay. Well, I was more worried people were going to pass out because they had been out there. Like, there had been people waiting since
right
6 in the morning in the square, and it was a sunny day and it was warm. So, I mean, I don't know. It was pretty nuts. The whole thing was.
Every time I hear about an NBA team or like, winning, the town goes batshit crazy.
Yeah. Right, Alan Morgula says, at Kerri McDonald, at Moni G. Hey, ladies, I'm here. Ergo, no worries. Can't wait to meet up next month at Con. Yeah. He is ready to go. And I told him, yes, we're going. That's awesome. So,
all right.
Awesome. Amanda wants to know, Liz, why did you go there? And
well, I guess to the parade. I mean, why not? We went with our friends.
It was raining when they had the Saints parade the year they won the Super Bowl, and I mean, just like you said, it was like probably 1 million people down there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was down there. People were going crazy. I mean, it was like a party. Everybody took the day off work. The one player, the like star player, the MVP, he got on stage and he's like, and he's a very like serious person and is like very like work job oriented. He's like, yeah, you guys got a few hours off work today.
Yeah, that's another thing. The city will kind of shut down when there's something like that. You know what I mean? Which is awesome. Like when we have a parade, most of the stores on the parade route shut down, except for a few convenience stores and whatnot.
Yep.
And it'll be signs that say closed for the parade. It's,
yeah. It's. I mean, it's just. Yeah. So that's why I was there. I mean, I was there with my friends, and we were just chilling, and we wanted to see it and celebrate, and it was cool. Like, and the parade itself was not long. It was just a couple big buses, and then, that was it. It was just.
Well, it sounds like you had a good time, and congratulations to you.
Yeah.
I know that's why you couldn't be with us one night. I think we ended up canceling anyway because of that. Y'all, that's why we didn't go last week.
Last Thursday was.
Everybody had a prior commitment that was serious to them. and a few of us were sick. If that's everything, Liz, Moni, you go on ahead.
Oh, hey guys, I don't have much to say. Good to see y'all.
Well, you are out of
And,
school for the year, I believe.
Yep, school's out for the
All
summer.
right.
Woo!
School's out for summer.
Yeah, that rocks. And
Hey, Lady Laura Dane.
all good. It's all good. So I'm ready to jump on into Daenerys.
Yeah.
All right.
In all kinky ways possible. Do it, Ree.
What about me?
Wait, no. Okay, Bran.
Bran, I'd never leave you out. You
Go ahead.
gotta go
Yeah,
first.
I would never leave you out.
Moni.
I'm not sure where Ree is, but she's going to join us back as soon as she can. But Bran, you go ahead. Looks like there's a beautiful sunset over there where you're at.
Well, it was beautiful.
Well, my favorite time of day is twilight, actually. So
Nice.
when it starts cooling off, and yeah.
Well, you guys, I'm sure my links are in the description. Haven't been on in a while because I moved to Mississippi. The humidity here is not a joke at all. I look like I
You
just
were
got out of
living
the
in
shower, but
Tennessee.
I didn't. I don't know what else to say.
Very good. Well, okay. Well, I'll go and we'll see if Ree pops in. Sunday, I was in a pretty bad car accident, meaning that both cars were totaled. A car ran a red light and hit my friend and I on the passenger side, which I was on. And I didn't even know until tonight. I knew I had a big knot that's gotten smaller, but I have a black eye.
Oh no.
I know. Wow. Right. I don't remember really hitting my nose hard or whatever, but I guess just hitting my head so hard or whatever. And then I cut my arm and I've just been really sore. But other than that, hey, I walked away from that. So
Good to see her. Like,
Good,
yeah,
yeah.
it wasn't worse for you, but
I forgot to say I can't see the chat tonight because I'm working from my phone, which has already run out of high-speed data.
Oh no. That's what sucks about living out in the sticks.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of our field yard, basically, to get service.
well, since Reed's not back with us, I told her to just join whenever she could. Thank you, Lady Laura.
We can piece together something.
Okay, well, I've got something, so it's all good.
Okay.
This is Daenerys 1, chapter 12. It's the first Daenerys chapter in A Clash of Kings. And Daenerys sees the comet for the first time, and it was on the night of Khal Drogo's burning, his funeral. And the bleeding star is what the Dothraki are calling it. And can anybody pronounce the way they call it? I cannot.
Hold on, let me look it up. I might be able to try. You talking about what they call the bleeding star?
Exactly, what they're calling it in Dothraki.
Shayak Kia.
Kaya, maybe? Shirak Kaya?
Is there an R in it?
Like that. Either one of y'all
Probably wrote it wrong.
So anyway, the
I'm not really Dothraki.
bad omen, but Daenerys views it as a good thing, a sign of a herald or announcement of her coming. She believes it is her guide. And then her handmaiden tells her that it is the Redlands, Khaleesi, a grim place, because she says she's going to go in whichever direction the comet is going and use it as her guide. And Dany insists they must follow it. But the truth is, it is the only way she can go. She dare not go north to the Dothraki Sea because of the first Khalasar they pass would try to swallow them, challenge them, kill the warriors, and enslave the rest, and then take her to Vaes Dothrak. South is the landmen, the Lazarene, who has no love for the Dothraki, and she doesn't believe that they could even defend themselves against those unwarlike people. And she would have gone to parts of Meereen, Yunkai, and Astapor, but Khal Pono went that way to sell slaves. At first, Dany thinks she would be safe, but Jorah explains things have changed and that this also endangers her dragons, the only 3 in the world. And Jorah counsels her to avoid fighting, specifically the Khalasars. She puts on the white lion pelt Drogo had killed for her, mounts her silver, and says, "We must follow the comet." And the lion pelt helped cover her burned hair. And this, we'll get back to the parallels right there of losing your hair seems to be a kind of rebirth signaling in the story. Dany loses her hair at the beginning of her rise, in my opinion, and then Cersei loses her hair at the beginning of her fall. But in both instances, they both rise to overcome their enemies. She learns just how unforgiving the Red Waste is as people start dying, leaving behind the broken and ill-tempered, dead and dying. She realizes she must put on a strong face and be the strength. No fear, no weakness, no doubt. They must see only Drogo's queen. And Dany seems really pretty smart about, maintaining a certain kind of image or mythos about herself. So the Red Waste is so desolate. There's nothing to forage and less water, devil's grass and stagnant water. And Dany thinks then to herself, the gods are cruel as death follows death. Daria dries up and her hair turned brittle. And Dany gets hard muscle. She becomes lean like a stick. It is her dragons she worries for, and Dany vows her dragons must live. Then she thinks about all the deaths that she's been through in her life. Her father, her brother Rhaegar, her mother, Willem Darry, Viserion, Drogo, her unborn child. She remembers Viserys told her only men and dragons eat meat, charred meat. Aegon says Drogon is the Black Dread returned. It's the dragon. They have lost 1/3 of their number, and she begins to question if she has made a mistake. Then the next day, her outriders speak of a beautiful city. And Jorah says he didn't know the place. He's never been that far east. She sends her blood riders ahead, and it's not a beautiful city. It's a dead city with no gods. And the handmaidens think it is haunted and it's a bad idea. Up close, it's not beautiful at all. And she wonders if the missing god was in Base Dothrak and if she hadn't seen it 100 times or more. And we don't see things the way they are necessarily. Just like at first they saw this city and thought it was beautiful, but the truth was it was just a wasteland. So they get to the city and everyone explores and they find figs and they find water. And Jiqua says this place is full of ghosts. And Dany says dragons are stronger than ghosts, so we have nothing to fear. And they have a respite and recover. And Dany bathes in the sand. Y'all, you can wash yourself with clean sand. Dany's hair is coming back. And this is when she thinks again about her image and her persona, because she thinks about giving herself braids. She reflects on Drogo and how his braid had never been cut and he had never been beaten. And then she thinks, that doesn't matter. Strength comes in many forms. Jorah brings Dany an overripe peach. And they rest until they're better. And then Dany asks Jorah about the ghosts. And Jorah says, there are ghosts everywhere. We carry them with us when we go. Dany asks what his ghosts are, and he tells her the story of Lyness Hightower, his second wife. The White Bull was her great uncle, and he describes her in the Hightowers, very proud and loyal, and stayed true to the Targaryens. And I thought that was funny because the Hightowers might be considered loyal, but we know that Lyness Hightower certainly isn't. Then he describes Bear Island and the hard winters and how it's mostly fishing, and how he was first married to a Glover who was a choice of his father's, and that he came to love her after a fashion, but she died due to complications of childbirth on her third stillborn child. He describes when he was knighted at the Battle of Pike and the tournament in Lannisport where he wears her favor and wins the tourney, and he describes everybody he beat: Mallister, Royce, Frey, Winch, Strongbore, and finally Boris Blunt. And then Jaime Lannister, but by decision. He breaks 9 lances, and Robert declares him the winner, and he declares her the queen of love and beauty. And he proposed, and for 2 weeks, he was happy. And this reminded me of everything is really very much fairy tale in their meeting, and then shit falls apart. So that how things start as a fairy tale don't always end that way, and that's kind of what we also see with Sansa. And then they get to Bear Island, and she hated it. And Lyness is very selfish. Nothing is ever enough. And Jorah gets in debt to a money lender, and he thinks, the magic was gone after those 2 weeks. And I'm thinking maybe he was glamoured or enchanted to like her, which is a whole nother theory. But he got into debt, and he sold slaves and lost his honor, and Ned Stark was coming for him. And instead of staying to face the consequences, he fled to Lee, sold his ship. The money ran out in half a year, and he signed himself up as a sellsword. And she ran off with a merchant prince named Tagal O'Mullen. And Dany asked if he hated her, and he said almost as much as he loves her. And Dany asked what she looked like, and Jorah said she looked like you. And Dany realizes he was in love with her, and she says he may never have her to herself, but she can give him back his home and honor. And she thinks again how no one could measure up to Drogo. She doubts she'll ever marry again. She sleeps well that night and dreams of her and Drogo and her riding dragons. She splits up her blood riders, sends one southwest, one due west, and one southeast. She tells them looking for cities, living and dead, caravans of people, rivers and lakes, or the Great Salt Sea. I will know where when we leave, where to go when we leave Base Soloro. We will have a destination when we leave the City of Bones. And the only death while they're at the City of Bones is actually a lady gets bitten by a red scorpion and she dies. Ricardo finds the ocean and saw the bones of a dragon. She even thinks of staying there and starting fresh. And Aegon finds 2 more ruins. One he did not explore because of skulls and iron surrounding it that warded him off. And the other ruins he does escape, where he finds an iron bracelet with an opal that he gives Dany. And Drogo was gone so long, Dany fears him lost. But when he returns, he comes back from the southeast with 3 people on camels and talks about Karth. Pyat Pri, the warlock, is with him. Zaro Zoandoxus, the prince of Karth, and then Quaithe of the Shadow. And she says, we have come seeking dragons. And Daenerys says, seek no more. You have found them. And that's the end of the chapter. All righty.
That's a really good overview.
Good job, Jen.
Thank you.
Yes, that's a tough chapter.
Ree,
Yeah.
Long chapter.
Ree has something going on where she's at right now, so she can't be here.
Right. And like I said, Ree, if you get to where you can join, just pop in. And I'm so sorry. You have to excuse me. I have to go to the restroom. Like I said, I took an anti.
Okay, Jen, check your messages while you're gone if you can.
Okay. If somebody else can start the discussion, that'd be great. I'm so sorry. I'm really
You're okay.
I'm metformin in my bow, but I'm going to the bathroom like a racehorse.
It happens.
Oh no, people can only do one thing.
I don't know who wants to start it off. I mean, I have a few things to say, but not. I mean,
I don't really have a lot to say.
I don't have a lot. But
I want to say that the dragons, I freaking love the dragons, but who doesn't? Like Drogon's description was just wonderful. The black with the slivers of red, and his horns are red, and his wings are red. Yeah. But Viserion's my favorite.
Yeah, he sounds beautiful. And I feel like the dragons are bigger at this point than they were on the show at this point. Maybe. Does anyone else? Because I feel like on the show, when she was in Karth, they're actually still pretty kind of small.
Yeah, they probably are bigger.
Here they're saying they're like
the size of scrawny cats.
Yeah. Like in my cats, I mean, I have big cats, but even small cats are bigger than what those little things on the show were.
Well, she mentions their, wingspan makes them look, because it's like same as their body length. Is that what it says? I'm not sitting in front of my book. I'm outside.
I don't remember what it said.
I wanted to mention at the beginning of all of these chapters, or when we start a POV in this book, it's all the comet, and it's my comet. It was Stannis's comet. Who else have we read about? Davos said maybe it's my damn comet, you know. But
Joffrey.
Dany, like, yeah, Joffrey. There you go. You know, it's just been going on, and everybody believes that it's theirs. And
well,
I wish the book had made Dany bald, like what really happened.
Or the show,
and
you mean? Yeah.
that sorry, yes, for that. But she is, what I think is kind of funny too is all these Dothraki omens, or like you know, superstitions, and she's just like, hell with that. That's, you know, dumb. That's not what I'm doing. Because if she listened to them, they, you know, there's no telling what would have happened to them by now. But Rhea was talking about also a lot of biblical symbolism in here, and she was seeing more being in hell, kind of a landscape. And Beelzebub. I can't remember her whole story, but I kind of saw the three guys at the end as more like wise men in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Y'all give me your opinions on that, because I mean,
well, I think
we two guys and a girl, though, right? Isn't it? Isn't it Pipe, and Quasi?
Yeah.
Actually, two guys and a girl.
I think the comet is interesting because I would say what you're saying about Daenerys. That she doesn't fall into the Dothraki like beliefs and superstitions, but yet she'll use it when it's her advantage. Like when she knows they need to go a certain direction, she's like, "Oh, the comet is telling us." But then when it's like, "Oh, stay at this city," that she's like, and they're like, "No, there's ghosts there. It's bad, ill omen." Blah blah blah. She's like, whatever." So she kind of like, it's very subtly done, but she's being very strategic in how she uses religion and the culture and stuff. I mean, to her advantage, and because it's, you know, necessary.
Yeah, like the burying the people or whatever they could do, you know, for the old and the children. And
exactly.
The other ones that died, I mean, horses, I know they probably, I think they killed two for the first guy that died.
Yeah. And
so he could ride into the Nightlands.
Yeah. And there's definitely like, I agree with like Reese, you know, a lot of biblical like death sort of going down to into death or hell or whatever. I mean, but that's very common in fantasy, like novels and books, that there's always like a going, you know.
Them mentioning the pools of brimstone was what really stuck out to me. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying?
Oh, no. No, I'm not saying anything else. Nothing important.
Too much of stuff.
While we're talking about the people that came up, you know, I had always thought that Quay was from a shy, but in this chapter, she says she's from the shadow, not by the shadow.
Oh, it is. It's a shy by the shadow, and I want to know what the shadow is. Like, that's something I really want to find out in the next book.
Well,
like,
she's not
what
from
does that
the
mean?
shadow, from the shadow.
Isn't a shadow of a mountain or something? Or it's something to do with the mountains, right?
I heard a volcano, possibly.
Maybe.
But
I don't know, but you know, we know that you know, only demons and ghosts and ghouls and stuff live there, not people.
Yeah. Well, people live in a shy, but it's
but that's
not healthy.
That's by the shadow. She says she's from the shadow.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
And of course, the show didn't do anything to finish up with her. She's a huge part of the books.
And she's also, what's interesting about Quaith is she speaks the common tongue.
Yes.
And also,
she's by the shadow, but she speaks the common tongue. So originally from how'd she learn it?
Lady Laura Jane from Starfall says, I thought she was from Volantis.
No.
Quay?
Sorry, guys.
I can find the part in the book. Hold on.
Secret says sometimes he thinks shadow means bastard. Go ahead, Brand.
She says, The woman in the lankered wooden mask said in the common tongue of the seven kingdoms, I'm Quaith of the Shadow. We come seeking dragons.
Mm.
You're right.
Separate Shayna's Secret says she thinks shadow means bastard. That's kind of interesting.
I like that as well. Yeah.
Maybe from the bastard, but it'd be a weird way to say it. But maybe, or it relates to, I don't know, from the shadow. I mean,
Too much.
it could be an inconsistency. Is that later on? When do we first hear about a shy by the shadow being mentioned?
It's not Sir Jorah, is it? Gotta
Oh, I
be.
think he does. He mentions the shy.
I know, but I don't know if he's the. You mean like in this chapter or in
No,
like
no, in the book.
books?
Books. That's right. He
Oh.
tells her to go to a shy. But he just call it like I'm just wondering when who calls it by the shadow. Like
Okay, and let's talk about that for a minute. Moni, you
Wait.
there? Okay?
Wait, hold on 1 second. Branwick, when you just showed a picture of you with your tiki torches, it looked like Ree's background. Like, you know how she has the red witch with the light, you know, she's looking at the light and the thing, and it was like kind of over your shadow. It was like, whoa, hey, what? No, but it's cool. Anyways, it's cool. I like your tiki torches. So yeah, I'm here. Keep going. You guys are rocking the house.
Thank you. They're
Well,
for the mosquitoes, but also for looks.
okay, and okay, let's talk about this for a minute, just real quick. I just want to touch on this real quick, just a little bit. Who buys into that this is all that everybody is actually trying to get her over to the Far East, like Jorah, because he mentions it so many times. Who thinks that's a thing?
trying to
Well-
get her to what?
Oh yeah, I told
No,
her
really?
to
Sorry,
get her over
So
there.
like Volantis, like because Jorah mentioned several times that they should,
Yes.
you know, go there and
Yes,
but then he's
yes.
all come out, but I've never been that far east.
They want her to go to Atlantis, and totally. And later in the book, in the 5th book, when Tyrion is in Volantis, spoiler alert if you haven't read this, but they did on the show. Sorry, spoiler alert. He goes to Tyrion's in Volantis, and he meets with this woman who's kind of like a mob queen or whatever, mafia. I don't know how to describe her. She's like a former slave. And she says that they're waiting for Daenerys in Volantis. Like they're waiting for her to come. This is after she's in Marine and doing her, you know, freeing of, you know, people. And that Volantis is waiting for her. And now what I wonder.
This one is this one the Dornish prince Quentin is going looking for her.
Yeah, it's in the 5th book. It's one of Tyrion's chapters in the 5th book.
Oh, Tyrion. Okay, so
Tyrion.
he's with young Griff and maybe.
No, after he's separated and he's.
Okay.
How does he? He's with Jorah. I don't remember the detail. Those details slip my mind. But
That's all right. It's a long chapter.
yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So she does. So there are people. A lot of people want her to go to Volantis, and I don't know if she ever will. I mean, it would make sense on her way back from Marine to Westeros, but I don't know.
Well, Quaith wants her to go to a shy so
Uh-huh.
bad, like in the
That's
other
why I
book.
brought it up, because several
Yeah,
people
She
keep wanting
keeps
her to go
telling
there.
her that's where she needs to go, and you know she asks her if they'll have an army there, gold or whatever, and she said no, truth. So is
Yeah,
Danny going
even,
to end up
Mira
having to
Mestre
go
wants
back
to go
that
there.
way? You know,
You got to go east to go west, right? Is that the problem?
Right. You have to
Right.
go backwards to go forwards. I really think that I hope that the books are going to be different, and that, you know, that's what
yeah,
we're
I
going to
would
get
think
an
so.
answer to all these open-ended things that they really
Yeah.
didn't touch on in the show.
Maybe she
Sure.
goes the opposite direction to Westeros
Tell me about it.
instead of.
Maybe.
Shit.
Oh shit, Kerri, we don't want to get you on a rant.
Let's not go
No,
there.
I mean, I love that we have this community and that part of Game of Thrones and how much it's just been such a great show. But this last season, I just,
I understand. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I really
I
do.
know it's an adaptation.
Can I-
They didn't have
I want to
much
say
go
something
on.
about the last season, or
Use
yeah,
your
the final
imagination
season,
a
because
little
I
bit.
haven't been here since
Oh yeah.
it came, happened. At first, I really, really hated it, and now I've only watched each episode one time. But I got to thinking about it the other day, and it was all really kind of beautiful and everything. Like, they didn't have many episodes to work with, but I really liked it, actually.
It grew on me a
Bran.
little bit more.
You know
after
what?
I
You guys are
watched
so
whenever
funny.
Drogon melted that the Iron Throne, I was like crying. It was so good.
Well, I guess I was sitting there watching the first time, like,
Okay,
come
and
on,
now
show
you
me some
look-
good stuff. Show me some good stuff. And it was
Bran,
just
now you
always
look like you have Drogon behind you with his like fire eyes and his fire nostrils, like about to come up and like crisp berries.
the widow of the waterfront. That's who Jorah talks to. Except to Shayna. She's schooling us.
Hey,
The widow of the waterfront. Yes.
Lady Laura Dane says shadow could be a metaphor for something else. It could be a metaphor for many things. Bela Morgula says, is dark and full of terrors.
Mm.
Well, it was a good Ideas of Ice and Fire podcast, and they were talking about the stone in a shy. It's made of that greasy stone that's found
obsidian.
everywhere, and it's just like it's such a mystery. No children are there, so
No one can have kids or something.
is that what it is? Okay,
That's what I got the impression that like there was some sort of like I heard some theory about some radiation or something.
Yeah.
There's something kind of going on, and so nobody can have kids, and it just which I guess then people just go there and
Well,
they don't
people
regenerate
think-
the population.
It could have been the rock.
that work magic that lives there.
Or the magic there.
Septa said
Yeah.
Jorah wants to get the eggs to a shy. Well, at this point, they're not eggs anymore. They're already dragons.
Right.
Shit, what was I gonna say about a shy?
Baylor says the show was
if a meteorite hit the earth, didn't a meteorite supposedly hit the earth there? In a shy
Yeah.
somewhere around there. Like it could be, it reminded me of Chernobyl, but it could be something from that's causing the
I think it's
You know.
I think it's like whether a meteorite hit or not, it's just death like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that toxic environment. Things don't grow there. Children
Yeah.
don't live there. Animals don't live there. Like, you go there for a purpose. It sounds like to get some hoodoo voodoo and then just hightail it out of there. It doesn't.
Like to have a
Maybe
peyote
the-
experience or something, Moni.
I don't know.
Maybe
A shy is very
Burning
New
Man.
Orleans.
right, or like whatever from space fell or whatever, like made magic
Right.
You know,
more powerful.
It's Burning Man. Everyone's going there
You don't want to
to.
go somewhere that like they can,
No
like,
way.
like the Iron Isle. Actually, it's like an Iron Isles of hell.
It's funny.
Do not put that evil stuff on hippie burns.
What? Burning Man?
Valor Morgulis in the chat says magical curses. Expand upon that because I think like when Jorah says in the chapter, after a fortnight, which is 2 continuous weeks, the magic was gone. I think there was some kind of I mean, I know he was feeling himself because he had just been knighted, and then he wins that tourney and everything like that. But I think there's something more to that him ending up with Lyness Hightower, because that wasn't really a great match for her.
No, she hated it. Hated it.
Well, can I make one comment though? We're getting only Jorah's. I'm very suspicious
Okay.
of Book
You know
Jorah.
what? That's true.
You're right.
We're
right.
only getting Book Jorah's side of the story.
And
Now-
yeah, and anytime you're only getting one half of any story,
Right? And
You're
like
in the full story.
we don't know if she felt like misled by who knows what he told her that Bear Island was like. He might have played up, I mean,
And this happened to me
I thought Bear
recently.
Island was
I feel like
gorgeous.
I was misled, but I feel like it wasn't really intentional.
it's not always intentional.
Accidentally happen, and things like that can happen. Like, you can,
You can, and same like
You can accidentally lead the quote unquote love of your life astray to a place for evil doings. I don't think so, man.
No, we're talking about, like he
I'm
was.
not talking about Daenerys and Jorah.
And I just think
But
there's
Jorah
more
would
to
probably
it.
do that too.
She really didn't like Bear Island, and then he goes into debt trying to make her happy, and just it almost seems like it could be a conspiracy.
Like Show Jorah, I believe would do it because Show Jorah is like kind of a wet blanket, but like Jorah is just kind of pervy and like I could kind of see Book Jorah being a little bit of like, and rewriting, and he always talks trash about like Ned and like it's like, dude, you were doing something you were supposed to be doing, like to make like
I didn't really take it as he was talking trash about Ned in this chapter.
What?
I said I didn't really take it as him talking trash about Ned in this chapter.
Not this chapter. More he does it in the first book. He doesn't do it like, this chapter he actually didn't do it. But in other chapters he does kind of talk. Fair enough.
Yeah. No, I'm laughing at the chat. Sorry.
I just feel like, I don't know. Book Jorah I feel is a bit bitter, and
yes.
I'm suspicious not that she didn't do anything wrong. She probably did.
Valor says Book Jorah is a fuck off.
Yeah, like Book Jorah's a perv, So I don't know.
He seems like a creepy bear, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Book Jorah's a bear. I was just going to say that. Like Book Jorah's a bear.
He is.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
and that's his house too.
But like not
a
a
creepy
cute
bear. Like that's what I think of. He's not as tall as the guy in the show, right? Like and he's furry all over.
He's got like hair on his back.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I thought he was like a little furry bear, man.
And he's balding, and he's like, no, he's not.
I bet he would get waxed in our time.
I don't know. Some people like that furry bear thing, man.
That's probably how he spent all his money trying to get back waxes.
I'm just saying.
Valor Morghulis is turning this into a nest.
Some people dig it, right? Right.
Not cheating anymore.
You know what? If it's your thing, that's your thing. Like no.
He's talking about Jorah. That's how Jorah feels. Like
yeah, he tries to get like, oh god. Naomi's been making me watch The Bachelorette, and guys try to get the pity rose, like tell her the worst sad story in the world. Like my dog died, and my grandmother died, and I had to have surgery on my leg because it was going to be paralyzed. Like wanting her to feel sorry for him to keep him on the show.
All right, hey Shelly, the Baratheon girl says she feels like Book Jorah had balls. At least he went for it.
That's true.
At least he did go all in. You're right about that.
And that was creepy. And that was creepy. Yuck. Yeah.
Amanda said she didn't feel like Book Jorah was creepy.
Amanda, I didn't think Book Jorah was creepy either.
Y'all know what, y'all know that show that comes on like that channel Reels? It's like $2.99. Yeah. It's like Autopsy or something. That's that dude Ian Glenn doing the voiceover for.
Oh, really?
And it shoots me out because it's like Prince's last 24, in his voice or whatever. He's got a good voice for that kind of, and kind of like Paul Winfield or one of the, from City Confidential or American Justice, like, or that guy from that Van Zandt dude from 2020 or what's that white haired dude from 48 Hours? Ian Glenn has that real narrator's voice.
And
I don't know who you're talking about.
I was just mentioning in the chat, I think it's important to note that Daenerys is 14 here. Jorah is like an old man, hairy back, having balding old man. I didn't want to throw that. Now I know back in those times that was sort of acceptable, but at least wait till she's like 60, before you like try, buddy.
Well, like at least he like waited till she was, Khaleesi. After she
Amanda, living on Prince and Danny, even tried to imagine herself with Jorah. Then she went, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it ever even crossed her mind. Like when somebody said that to her, what was it in the book as well as the show? Like, that he's in love with you, and she was like, huh?
Maybe Jorah started getting all because he had just become knighted at the Siege of Pike right before, or did he have the tourney after? Yeah, he had to do the tourney after because he had to be a knight to do the tourney. So he was knighted at the Siege of Pike by Robert, and then married Lyness. What do y'all think about the conspiracy, though? You think because she's a high tower, he was trying to spread it around, or
No, no.
What?
There's a whole theory that the high towers are, you know, kind of in with the maesters or whatever. Because that's where their base is, that's where their seat is, and that they don't want magic in the world.
Well, they basically started the Citadel. Like the High Tower, the High Tower sort of funded the Citadel or something. I forget that story, but it's like one of like a High Tower Lord's brother was like very into learning and that. But I don't know if that's.
I thought that was the one now, but I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one, but I don't know if the Citadel existed before that or not. Anyways, I don't want to make the details wrong.
Is the one now kind of like physically?
I have this in my notes about the High Towers. Yeah, like where are they in this story in the current timeline? Like, we always hear about them in Robert's Rebellion or in the Dance of the Dragons. Like this is a rich, powerful family, and like when the War of the Five Kings, they are like non-existent.
Gone. Yeah.
And I don't understand why.
Right. I was hoping in the next book we were going to get more high tower situations because
I hope so. And
I believe Sam mentions that an island not that far from Old Town had been raided by the Ironborn. You know, where Euron goes and basically turns the bastard daughter into his
oh yeah, what is that?
Takes over
it's not Fair Isle. What is the island he does that on?
I didn't hear what y'all said.
Where's the map?
We need to get that at no
right, Claw Point. What are y'all talking about? I missed the
talking about one of the main things with Euron in the book is when he goes to an island that is considered part of the Seven Kingdoms and takes it over, and he makes
that's the Shield Isles.
The Shield Isles, right? Which is not far from Old Town.
There's 4 of them, and he gives one of his lords or whatever his followers one each, but it's just a ruse because he's planning on doing more.
What? But what's weird is why I'm surprised he didn't try to go for like Fair Isle, because Fair Isle is closer to.
He's probably heading that way, but the Shield Isles, he did that so he could go up the Mander. But he left some of his guys as lords of those islands, but they're gonna start getting their ass kicked when the Arbor comes, and he's gonna already have taken off to go do other stuff.
As a Strangeness Secret says, why was there a Taroshi slaver at Bear Island? Was it all set up by the High Towers? Like, was this situation all instigated and set up by the High Towers? Some people believe that.
No, I think
the reason would be though to ruin Jorah Mormont. You know,
what would be the go of getting the Lord of Bear Island, expelled?
Exactly. That's the question I would put into on that.
And also, like, Lyness was a younger daughter. Like, I feel like the reason the Lord Hightower agreed to it was because Lyness, she was like a 12th child. Like, he had she was the youngest of a bunch of kids. So he was like, yeah, just take her. Like, I don't, like, maybe he wasn't like, if she went to tourneys a lot, maybe she wasn't a virgin. Maybe there was some other reason why he was like, like, great, like, you don't know. So that's.
You're saying she was queen of love and booty, not queen of love and beauty.
I mean, maybe why not? Like, lots of, I think, so maybe there was some, like I said, maybe there was some other reason, but I don't think it was set up. I think
booty can be beautiful.
Exactly. There's no.
Brown Girl asks, has anyone studied the Plantagenets and the subsequent so-called War of the Roses? Honestly, you guys would love it. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm always reading things like that. I'm actually reading a book on Mary Boleyn right now, Anne's sister, which I know is after the War of the Roses, but
Yeah, it's all interesting.
Jennifer knows. She remembers all those names.
I just watched a big series about the Plantagenets because I didn't know what the heck it was. I watched 2 or 3 things and they were talking about it back to back, and I was like, gotta go check this
yeah,
out.
it's
So I
like
watched a couple
Plantagenet,
documentaries.
Tudor,
I'm totally nerdy like that.
Yeah.
and yeah.
But there's another. Yeah, but there was something else. Like, oh, do you think Lyness is kind of like Lyness's story is sort of foreshadowing for Daenerys and Jorah's relationship, like that it's going to go sour at some point?
Yeah, I can see that, definitely.
Like, even after, say, like he reunites with her and it's okay and good, but that maybe it yeah, like he gets jealous if she's with other men, or whatever.
Yeah.
All kinds of things that could happen.
I thought the Plantagenets, or however you say it, they were more part of like the Holy Grail stuff, not part of the War of the Roses.
Well, and I thought it was something to do with the King War too.
They were
Where
at
they
the like.
Fought right in the battle, wasn't it? Where
I think what it was is the Yorks, House York and House Lancasters were branches of the Plantagenets.
Okay.
Yeah. That is
Right. I'm thinking of
What's
but
that?
I'm thinking of like a huge scruffle that happened between between the serfs and it was like for the two lords' houses. I thought it had something to do with the Plantagenet, but anyways, I'll have to look it up. Thanks for piquing my curiosity, pal.
Doesn't mean
no problem.
Hey, weren't the because I heard somewhere Septa's in here asked in the chat and why the slavers would be so far up north, but I thought they were poaching like on the King's Land or something. Is that crazy talk? Where did I
No,
hear
that's
that
why
from?
he did it. That was his excuse. Was they were poachers?
Yeah,
Oh.
he sold poachers to slavers. I think maybe the wildlings maybe were involved with some slaving, perhaps. Because like, how else are the wildlings going to make money? Like they don't.
Well,
Really...
and that remember they're right there next door. Like they're coming over there to screw people on his island. Like they're all hooking up his shit.
Yeah, so I could see the wildlings selling people to slavers just to make money, because how else are they going to make money? Because
so there would be slaver ship would be that far out.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I would definitely.
That makes sense.
Bram,
So
what
he
do
was
you
just
think? It
getting a
sounds like
cut-in on it?
crickets over there.
What?
I said, what do you think? It sounds like crickets over there. I'm just,
Yeah,
Probably
it's because I'm
crickets.
outside, you guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's awesome.
I'm
It's
getting-
fun. I like it.
I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes for you
I bet
guys.
you are, though.
Oh no.
We're glad you're here.
Is he took the poacher to
Oh gosh, you're a little country boy. So cute. It's like Green Acres and shit.
Green.
Climb up a telephone.
Fran, you gotta find some shit so we can use it.
To talk to us. Fran, you're all up in the wilderness. Awesome. That's awesome.
I
So what do
didn't
you
get to
think?
get into this conversation earlier about what y'all thought about book Jorah, but I did not care for Jorah at all. I don't like him.
In the book and in the show, right?
In the book and in the show, I don't like him. I think he's a little turd.
I'm with you, Bran. I'm not a Jorah fan. I mean, I think on the show he's just like, he's such a wet blanket, man. Like, oh, Khaleesi. Like, give me a break, dude.
He always
I mean,
seems to be lurking
Yeah.
like a lurker.
Just the
Well,
way he even
Just a
says her
lurker.
name. You know what I mean? That just,
But I love the actor. I think Ian Glenn.
oh yeah, he's a
Yes.
really good actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not talking bad about the actor. I just do not like the
No.
character.
It's
He
the
was like,
character, right.
first he was against Danny, you know, trading against her, trying to get all these people to kill her and stuff. And then he saves her, and then he's all like, I'm in love with you. I think we should go
Yeah,
east.
I
I just
think
think
we
he's a little
cried.
bitch, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go, Brand.
I agree.
Let that
Now,
sass
bigger bitch,
out.
bigger bitch than Jon Snow.
John's not.
Yeah,
It's a different kind of bitch. I know.
yeah,
Kind
it's
of
a
bitch.
different kind.
That's a different kind of bitch.
John wants to be a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Just not the. Anyways, are there? I hope no children.
Oh, anyways, also I know you guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do
Oh,
it because
Peter.
Bran, you were talking about, and I haven't really talked either. And I thought this was super gorgeous too. And when everybody was going off about the dialogue this season and everything else, I was like, well, man, I don't. I didn't really get it. Now, you know what? Watching it second time around, I'm totally getting mad about all that stuff. But I was so blown away by the cinematography season that honestly I got slept up. I'm a sucker for audio, like the music and the visual. I would like I forgave so much, especially first time around when I was just taking it in, not critically questioning or and I can do that
Right.
easily, like just get swept up in like the moment, and then but going back and hearing how everybody was like so upset, and I was like, really, I was just so blown away by the visuals and the music, and I didn't get upset about it. And then now watching it like a second or third time around, I'm like, ooh, hey, yeah. Like I start asking questions, and then I watch more of these other reviews, and it's the same shit everybody's bitching about that they caught the first time. I guess they weren't, and now they're saying, now that I've watched it 2 or 3 times, I am really blown away at how gorgeous it is and this and that. And I'm like, oh, so I'm just kind of opposite.
At first I didn't like it, right? But then I got to talking about it with Marlon, and I was just telling him the stuff that happened because he refused to watch it because he's not a big Game of Thrones fan.
All right.
And he was like, I don't understand why everyone hated it. It sounds like everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Jon killing Dany, Arya getting the Night King, Sansa taking the north, Arya going west. Like we got everything we wanted, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Drogon even carrying her off. Yep.
Maybe he took her to the shadow.
Yeah. Which is where everybody said she had to go, where the dragon had to go.
Yeah, maybe she's gonna be coming back, man.
Brought alive. She's alive. Maybe she's the Night Queen after all, like everybody said. Do, do, do.
But the one thing, like, I'm still not entirely sure about is Bran being the king. Like, he needed a purpose, but I never saw him as the king.
No,
I don't think the logic there works, and I don't know if it'll work in the books. Like thinking about it.
I mean, he said he never even wanted to be Lord of Winterfell. Why would you want to be the king of the 6 kingdoms?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just so but it just so I don't know, there wouldn't be an heir. So maybe start shit out right that way.
I don't know. It's not that part I understand. I understand that part. It's the part of how they.
It seemed way more nefarious than anybody is making it out to be. Sorry, the whole fact that Bran's the king makes me think that
he playing that, huh, Moni?
The Three-Eyed Crow took a hold of freaking Tyrion's mind to convince everybody. It's just a weird thing, dude.
Yeah, no, I agree, Moni.
Yeah, you're right. He's it was all too wrapped up in a package. So there must be some kind of magic spell. Maybe the comet freaking set. That's what I was asking in the chat too. I was like, hey, whatever happened to the comet? Did it really say in the book?
Maybe it's Bran's comet.
Disappeared? Is it still there?
Maybe it's Bran's comet.
I think it was just a comet. If anything, I think the comet heralded the birth of the dragons. If it meant anything, it was for the dragons.
When is a comet just a comet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to hear more about it still.
Or
Like it
says
seems like it
Bran
would've been
is the
newsworthy when it went away.
Manchurian
See, I think
candidate.
that the comment.
Yeah, I guess.
Huh?
Did you guys hear me? Milt said Bran is the Manchurian candidate.
Yeah.
I don't
He is,
understand
Milt.
the logic of how they can
Good
actually
take on that.
justify electing him. Like, how do you get from point A to point Bran?
I'm
Like,
telling you,
there's
I
no,
think it's nefarious.
there's no like, he has no political connections.
No,
Like, he has like no heritage. Like, this is still a feudal society. Like, he's not everybody else is dead. Like, there's other good candidates sitting around, like that are older and more mature. Like, I just don't.
I would find it more interesting if we find out that it's actually something he kind of orchestrated. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. It was just weird. That's why I'm here. Why do you think?
Yeah. Like that's creepy,
little
right?
clever
It's
one-liners.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it being Blood Raven working his magic, but then didn't he die in the tree? I don't know.
Oh, I lost you.
I don't know. Whatever. It's all right. I'll live. King Bran.
All right, I'm going to read this comment, you
Don't
guys.
you think it's totally nefarious? I mean, if that's really how it happens, don't you think it's nefarious? He must have been working some crazy magic with all the council.
I guess, but he's dead. Like, or is he? Is he not dead? Maybe he's the Night King. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, Peter Griffith says, I think the prequel will show us the three-eyed raven isn't as innocent as Bran appears. I hope so. Septa Shade of Secret says everything we wanted, but Jamie and Brienne.
Well, not everything we wanted, almost.
Vala Morgula says, if it's in the books, it works. Ergo, the books are insane. Lots more Bran chapters to come, but oh my fucking God, what a failure. Failure doesn't even do justice. I have words for, and they're not good words.
Oh.
Damn, that was harsh. I didn't think it was that bad.
I know.
Yeah, Val, that's how Val
Shoot.
is. He puts it down pretty hard.
Yeah, that's.
He
I mean, a
really
lot of
knows
people
his
feel that.
stuff. So, okay, in Australia, this is Amanda J. In Australia, we have a spray called Aereo Guard to keep you safe, Fran. Our mosquitoes are the size of a small suitcase. Oh my goodness, they were carrying him away. And yes, I know what you're talking about, Shelley Baratheon girl. Was it Catherine Valois? She was married to the King of England, and he died, and their son became king. And she was still very beautiful and young. And she married basically a servant and had Owen and Jasper Tudor. And they were half brother to Henry VI. And he was very generous and fond of them. But honestly, it's kind of like a Cersei taking control situation. She was the queen consort and also a French princess. Aside from, I believe, them having a common relative, maybe in John of Gaunt, she really wasn't in the line of succession necessarily. But yes, very topic. And you can draw a lot of comparisons to the story and the different storylines by looking at the different storylines in the War of the Roses. Were you talking, Kerri?
I thought y'all was talking about Sansa taking control of the North just now. But like Sansa, all through the books we get told she's the girl with traitor's blood. Her wolf died. She learned her ways from the lioness and the mockingbird. I'm not surprised at all that she had to have a grab for absolute power over something.
But why didn't they offer her, like, it would have made more sense if they would have offered her the Seven Kingdoms, because she at least has political connections, and then maybe she denies it because she just wants the North or something. I don't know. And then Bran takes it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a Stark, not on the Iron Throne, but there's a Stark on the throne, so like, I don't really think anybody in the North would have had a problem following a Stark on the throne. I think she just wanted, to have something.
I don't think so. I think it was always about the North being the Northern independence like a big deal. Like it's a really, I don't know. I feel like for the show just downplayed it a lot, but it's such a big deal. Like they bled for it. They died for that shit. She got beat for that shit.
Well, so did Dorne, you know.
Well, this is where they messed up. Like where like
Yeah.
Dorne should have all like by making her the only one is
Well,
part.
or
But
the
it
other
wouldn't
thing
like.
that Dorne is they have a prince. They have a title.
Because really, Dorne and the Iron Islands should also have their independence.
Right.
Yeah, really.
Well,
You know,
I thought that all of the 7 kingdoms was going to go back into being like 7 separate kingdoms, you know?
Yeah.
The whole time until it happened at the end, I was like, what?
Yeah, why just the North? I think that is one thing in the books that will be different is that you'll get like the North, the Iron Islands, Dorne, then maybe you'll get like the Vale might join the North, and then you'll have like a couple, like, I don't know, I feel like the Riverlands and the Vale might join the North, but then you might have another kingdom of the Reach and the Westerlands, you know, like a middle kingdom, middle Earth.
I
But,
did like how they had them all laugh when Sam said, "Ooh, one person, one vote," and they were all like, "Ha ha ha!" Because
Yeah.
that's more realistic. I know there were a few people that wanted that as a theory, but come on, you don't go from like kings to democracy that easy.
yeah.
Not that easy.
But since Bran, you brought up Sansa, actually when Jen in the beginning was talking about the hair and how Daenerys loses her
Yes.
hair and Cersei lost her hair before they sort of either the downfall or the getting of power. And Arya also had her hair cut off. So it makes me wonder, will Sansa like get her hair cut off like when she's going like if it all falls apart in the Vale, maybe she has to go into disguise to escape. She's
already in disguise in the Vale. You know, she dyed her hair black, and she's saying that she's
Elaine, but maybe
her daughter.
Worse, so she can't even. Maybe she decides to cut the dyed hair off.
Like
and I don't know. Like I'm just wondering if she'll like.
Women can't have power with long hair. Like the opposite of Samson.
I don't know. It just until when Jen said that, it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, all like several characters have done that, not just Daenerys. Like maybe, and I'm like, well, maybe Sansa will in the next book. I don't know.
Maybe she will. You know, a lot of people think that she's going to get kidnapped, and you know that somebody actually knows her cover up there in the Vale, and she's going to get kidnapped. If she gets away from her kidnapper, she would have to cut her hair and dress different. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Maybe she's gonna lose her hair as well.
Well, right now where I'm at in the books, I'm in Feast for Crows, you guys, and I just finished the chapter where Brienne, you know, left that place or that inn and all those people behind that she met to go find Sansa. Yeah, and that one guy was saying, you know, you're not the only hunter in the woods looking for that girl.
Right. And there's some hints in her Elaine sample Winds of Winter chapter that came out of like there's one of the knights from A Feast for Crows is now in the Vale and is like is in the Vale and she talks to him and it's very the spidey senses are aware. I think it's Shad or Mad something. I don't know.
Yeah, the Mad Mouse.
Yeah, the Mad Mouse is there.
Yeah, that's him. He says common mice run away from battles, but the Mad Mouse runs right into it.
Yeah. So
Will says maybe George R. R. Martin will become anti-Whig after Cersei and Daenerys. And he also says it should have just reverted back to pre-conquest Westeros with all the different, like when there was a king of the Reach and a king of the Westlands and, you know, and just all separate rule. You know, that was one of the things I thought might happen, Milt, and then, you know, it didn't happen.
That's what I thought was going to happen. But I'm, you know, I don't know if I'm okay with how they decided to rule it or if I would have preferred that. Maybe over time I'll decide.
And Vala Morgulis is telling you, oh, Bran, wait to the end of Dance. Just wait to the end of Dance. But Feast is actually my favorite book because it covers a lot of characters, POVs that I like Sam and a few others. So that's actually one of my favorite book, and that's definitely my favorite. What's it
I'm
called?
really enjoying it.
Now my mind is just going blank. When you get that little tidbit at the very beginning, but it's caught something. It's not the chapter 1. It's the not the prologue, not the end, the beginning. You know what I mean. You guys know what I mean.
Epilogue.
The prologue, not the epilogue. Yeah,
The prologue of Feast is where that one guy is getting that key for that faceless man.
Right.
I had to reread that one like 3 or 4 times to understand what the hell was happening.
Right. Yeah, I did too.
But I really loved, okay, so Cersei is one of my favorite characters, guilty pleasure. And I got to read her first POV the other day. I was so excited. She thinks just exactly how I thought she would think.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Bree says, and chicken was for dinner and jambalaya. Drop it, meal, my jambalaya.
Who said chicken was for dinner, Ree?
She said,
Ree is constantly talking about killing my chickens. She wants them all to die. I love my chickens.
If the hounds goes on your property, he's gonna eat every fucking chicken.
Because Scout has meat chickens.
Mine aren't meat chickens. Mine are layer chickens for the eggs. Hashtag for the eggs.
Hashtag for the eggs. It's so cute. Of course, you don't have meat chickens. You might get one that you don't like and be like, oh, you're meat chicken now. Chasing it around the yard.
They follow me everywhere I go. It's getting kind of annoying.
You need a staff and you can start herding them and stuff.
Oh,
You want me to be a chicken herder?
I mean, you really can. Like, they really used to have people that used to, tend guineas or guinea fowl and, walk around and make sure, things didn't happen to them.
Y'all are probably like gonna think I'm crazy, but we're getting a scythe and everything. We're kind of wanting to live the old way a little bit.
Wow.
Do y'all know what a scythe is?
Not like doomsday.
No.
It's just like getting back to nature.
What is it?
A scythe is the thing that the Grim Reaper carries, and it's actually used to cut grass.
Dude,
you
be careful with one of those. It's like the granddaddy of a sickle.
Yes.
Yes, it's got a really big blade on it.
Yes.
And
oh my gosh, Branwick, be careful with that. That's why we make modern tools, dude.
Okay.
Chop their feet off.
Actually,
But I'm not going to chop my feet off.
A little bit different too. That's what them highway boys use when they get locked up.
Oh my.
Y'all going to thank that one guy, that goat man got me. The one from Harrenhal, he came and cut my feet off.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
That's terrible. No, don't like walk around with your hoodie when you're going out to cut the weeds. People.
Always wear closed-toed shoes, people.
Yes. Steel toe shoes. Jeez.
All right, Peter G. Hi. My mother always tells a story of her best friend named Limpy, who was a chicken. One day Limpy was gone and they had chicken that night, and she figured it out years later. That's how it was when you were growing up. Like, I can remember my great-grandparents on my mother's side. We would always go visit them when we were in Baton Rouge. And if you were going to stay and eat with them, it always took forever. And that's because my grandfather went out there and butchered a chicken and plucked it and everything. But talk about some damn good fried chicken.
Yes, anything fresh is good.
I bet it is.
Well,
Have you ever tried to feather a bird? It's a bitch, dude.
Yeah,
That's not fun.
I've heard it is.
That's why you go to the supermarket. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
It's no fun. It's no fun.
I'm going through this little I don't know, thing where I don't trust anyone and I want to grow my own food and I want to be able to walk outside and be in the supermarket, and pluck it off the vine. And
Hell, I
Wow.
still have
I've
my
got enough land now to do it, you guys. I'm gonna do it. Y'all can all come to my farm and we'll do some fun stuff.
I'll
Cool.
do it. I'll
Sounds
do it.
delicious.
Cool. I know how to can vegetables.
Oh, awesome, Moni.
If I didn't have my dog tearing up my garden all the time, I'd have a garden. But my beagle won't stay
But
out.
you got a bigly bigly.
So
A bigly bigly.
A bigly bigly.
I don't know
You're not
what.
having a
What
garden. They're
I really
diggers.
don't
I don't
know
even
what.
have a yard, so I'm trying to grow lavender in my window, and
Yeah.
it's not working.
You
I
can
had a
grow
tough time.
basil.
I tried to grow
Might not
some
have enough
lavender, and I
sun.
had a tough time.
Yeah, it's not, this is my second time. I'm gonna get it eventually, but because I just think it would smell so nice.
Lavender is really hard to grow.
It would.
Okay.
Sage would too.
Sage is hard to grow too. I've had trouble with sage.
Well, they're
I
kind of
so wild.
succulent, so need to make sure they have lots of sun.
I like basil. It smells like Christmas to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Am I the only one that thinks fresh basil smells like Christmas?
No,
Yes.
it's delicious.
I love fresh basil. I know that much.
I just
I like to
remember
pluck it
from
and
like
put it in my hair.
my-
Everywhere I go,
my
smells like
time.
basil.
it smells yummy. Like from my
Hey,
Italian
it
family.
Staining, thumbs up.
If you take some olive oil and onions and garlic and chop it up and some basil and like
Now I'm
just
getting
like
hungry.
saute that before you put the marinara sauce in there.
That does sound good.
I would walk into work and hear that smell and just like, I don't know how I didn't gain 300 pounds working there. Because Uncle Bubby, that was his nickname. Because his name was Alfonso Alfano.
We got a guy we call Bubby, lives on my street.
Is that the guy I met?
He does swamp tours.
Oh, okay.
Bubby is like Yiddish for grandma.
Have we forgotten anything in the
chapter?
Yeah.
Hey,
Bubby.
I'm glad to keep
I might have to
the
go
green
see
and that
later.
basil smells like my Italian wife. Love. Yeah, nothing wrong with smelling like basil. And then rosemary has a nice smell to it. Rosemary to me kind of smells like
I have some rosemary.
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
it can be a
No,
little
I
bit
love
strong,
basil.
but if you weaken it down, it's got a nice clean scent to it.
Yeah, I pick up the leaves and put it in my hair so that everywhere I go, it smells like basil.
You smell
That's
delicious.
awesome. It's better than patchouli. I can't
Yeah,
say
yeah,
patchouli. Especially the hippies that way overdo it.
I
Like a
don't
little
love
bit's okay.
patchouli either. I don't love. I like
Bubby and
cinnamon, all right.
Basil's delicious. It's a little sweeter than I think what brands smell. I don't know.
The smell, I don't mind it, but sometimes it's a little too much.
It's very, very strong, but it's like, I don't know, something about the flowers or something. It's very, very Christmassy to me.
Yeah.
Hey, Bran, let me warn you, if you grow mint, be prepared for it to take over. My Aunt Charlotte told me after I planted it, and she said she just wanted to move because the mint just won't go away.
Yeah, Peter Bailey.
Yeah, but the bugs hate mint.
Okay. Well,
Spearmint. Yeah.
I'm not looking at the chat. What did
I was
Peter?
growing some, y'all, and it was doing really well. And then, the New Orleans heat hit, and I guess it wasn't getting enough water. And last time I looked at it, I had killed that. So it's bad if you can kill that spearmint too.
I think mine's chocolate mint, but I don't know. Yeah, you can have plenty of it and grow it if you want to. Well, I guess it's what time is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think we got
Yeah,
everything.
it's 9:39. We got this chapter, and it was good to be with everybody and
yeah.
just talk.
Sorry, guys. I'm in the middle of nowhere and I have the worst service.
Right. Well, why don't you go ahead and take us out, Brian?
What was that?
HughesNet.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Why don't you go ahead and you can sign off? You can go ahead and be first, and if you want to do shout outs or
Well, I can't see the chat, so I have no idea who's there. But thank you everyone for coming. I've missed book club so much. I've been having so much fun, doing stuff down here, building chicken coops, and I got 2 dogs. And I hope everyone has a happy summer solstice tomorrow. I'm going to spend the whole day in a
Oh, I
pool.
didn't know that.
Woohoo!
I'm gonna have a bonfire.
I'm going to be in a pool all day long, just
That's
thanking
what
the
I want to
sun.
do.
Uh-huh.
Rock
You have
on,
a
Shaka
pool,
Khan.
Chris.
Woohoo!
Oh, have fun.
Right. Yeah. Is it
All right.
at your house? You have a pool at your house too?
No, at Marlon's parents' house, they have a really nice house with a really nice pool, and it's kind of like in this concrete fence thing, and they got a big old palm tree in there, so it's kind of like a
Ooh.
God's wood a little bit with a pool in it, and their heart tree's a palm tree.
That's
So
nice.
it's just beautiful.
That's nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, have
Have a
fun.
great day, then. That
Yeah,
sounds
really.
fun.
Yeah.
Happy summer solstice.
Well, I'll
Happy
go ahead
summer
and shout out
solstice.
real quick. We had
Okay.
Lady Laura Dane. We had the Brassing girl Shelly. We had Living on a Prayer.
Jelly.
And we have Valor Morgulis. Kerri is here. Crazy Girl Productions, which is
That's me.
Asian Fabulous Dawn. Septic Shayna Secrets. Milt or the Westerosi Ninja.
I thought ninjas were Japanese milk, not Chinese.
They are. They are Japanese. But whatever.
He's probably gone.
Of course,
But I
we
got-
had
I got a
Nikki,
joke
and we
too
had
about
Moni, and we had. That's as far as I can scroll back. Did I miss anybody, you guys?
Living on a Prayer. Peter Griffin. Did you say Peter?
I did.
A secret.
Okay.
Did you say her?
Lady,
Oh,
did you say Lady Laura Dane?
Septic Shayna Secrets is a guy. It's Sir Stefan.
I
I
Yeah,
thought
oh,
he has a really good channel with a lot of. Click on every.
need to watch.
keep your
Whether or not
mint in a
they've got
pot.
content
friend.
now or not, they might have some in the future.
Nice. Oh.
All right.
Okay, Amanda J says, "Yeah, I got everybody." Okay, next week. Let me look. So it's going to be chapter 13.
Mhm.
John
It's gonna be
1?
John 11, I think.
John 2?
Or no, John. The way I wrote it, it's like
Okay.
I'm like, John
Gotcha.
11, what the hell?
It's my bad. It's John.
You wrote it in
Yeah,
Roman
I wrote it in
numerals.
Roman numerals and then read it wrong. What a spaz.
I love you, Jen.
Thank you. Who wants to do that overview?
I would totally volunteer for it, but with my crappy service, that makes me nervous. I don't want any responsibilities.
Marathian girl says, "Night, you sexy bastards." Night,
Night.
you're always appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, Amanda J says she wants to come on and she wants to do the overview. That's
What is it? Chapter 11?
Chapter 2.
it's
No,
chapter
Chapter
13.
13.
Thank you.
Very-
Okay, God.
Moni, we're so glad to have you back with us, Brand.
Yeah.
Everybody. Love our group. Love our
Thanks for having me back.
And I'll admit it. Somebody had to remind me. A couple people had to remind me earlier this week. Don't be happy. Don't be unhappy about what you don't have. Be happy with the group of good people you have around you. And so, I very much am, and I really appreciate you guys. And
Thanks, Jen.
everybody have a great week. And we'll see y'all next week for some Broody John. Like I said, John 2, chapter 13. And with that, everybody have a good week. Does anybody on panel have anything they want to add?
I gotta
Rock
go.
on, Shaka Khan.
Go ahead. I wish I could spend my day in a pool. I'm volunteering at the Humane Society walking dogs
That's
tomorrow.
awesome, Kerri. That's awesome, though.
I know, but
Working tomorrow.
it won't be that hot tomorrow. We're getting back up in the 90s coming
Bye,
up.
Brand.
So.
Brandon had to leave us. That's why he was wanting to go because he wants to get away before he gets carried off by a huge mosquito. But you guys,
Wow.
Brandon's back.
Damn thing
You guys
keeps
can
kicking me off.
find
I'm sorry.
Messenger me on
Damn
Jennifer
it.
Overton, Facebook me, whatever, and then my email is in the description. Liz, all of your emails are in the description. And I guess with that, we'll just say bye.
Awesome.
Bye. Have
Well,
a great
thanks.
week.
Bye.
We love it. Thanks for having me back
Thank you.
again.
Y'all, thanks for coming.
Good seeing y'all.
Thank you.